This is the Ellis Martin Report and Money Talk Radio. Today my guest is Terry Lynch, CEO of Polymetallic Incorporated, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol PNPN and on the OTC markets as PNPNF. Polymetallic is a polymetallic exploration and development company advancing its flagship NISK nickel sulphide project in Québec, one of the most mining-friendly jurisdictions in the world, with a long history of high-grade nickel, copper, cobalt, and platinum group metal discoveries. Within that broader NISK project area, the company has now delineated the Lion Zone, a discovery that is rapidly distinguishing itself not only for grade but for exceptional metallurgical performance. And that brings us straight into what I can only describe as shock and awe metallurgical results, independently reported by SGS Canada. Initial recoveries reported include 98.9% copper, 93.9% palladium, 96.8% platinum, 85% gold, and 88.9% silver, numbers that are extraordinarily rare in any polymetallic sulfide system. These are run-of-mine style composite samples, not selective lab curiosities, pointing to a highly remobilized, exceptionally concentrated mineralized zone, results that can fundamentally change the economics of a project. Terry, welcome back to the program. Good to see you.
Good to see you, and Happy New Year. Let's have a great 2026.
Listen, you're already having it, and I don't know where you go from here. I've never seen any numbers like this in my entire life in this business.
It was mind-blowing. When I saw them first, I immediately contacted my VP Vex and I said, have you checked these things? He said 5 times. He was blown away, and like yourself, has not seen numbers like this. There's only been 20 of these discoveries in the history of the world, so it's not like there's a lot of examples of it. And these types of discoveries, Mother Earth actually almost does the refining for you, really, which is what's happened here. This is heavily remobilized and obviously super concentrated, super high grade. So all those things make it possible to have these great extraction numbers that we got.
How did you get the extraction? Was it at surface? I have no idea. How far down did you have to drill?
So when you do these met tests, they're basically trying to mock real world scenario as if you're going to go ahead and mine this thing. So they were looking for a uniform concentration. So they basically took assays from all over our drilling cores and they blend them together. So it's actually what would be called a common blend or a run-of-the-mill blend for this deposit. So that's been generated. They had, I don't know, 60 kilograms of material or something like this, and they eventually refine it down, and this is what they got.
It's ridiculous for me to ask you what the next steps are. You can't possibly top these numbers, and why would you? And if you continue, you're only going to go down from there, aren't you?
Yeah, I think one of the other things that we're following up with on this, the next part of the process is we're seeing, we have some rare earth elements in the deposit, and we're just seeing if there's any economics to getting some of those out. So that would be like an incremental new revenue stream that we're assessing through the secondary recovery process, and we'll see. It wouldn't be material, it'd be like 10% more revenue, but again, if it drops to the bottom line, it's nice. So we'll see. That's something that we're working on. Other than that, yeah, no, it's pretty much finished. The next thing would be potentially open some possibilities for us in terms of how you would manufacture this going forward. It looks like we potentially could go directly to the copper sheet here fairly easily, which would be a incremental, again, revenue plus. So we'll probably evaluate that. It may have some advanced processing features that we wouldn't otherwise be exposed to, but because of the high grade, it's likely to be possible. The hydromet process.
The need for copper as it is in the world, how many mines are there? 25? I don't even know the number. And we need probably 50 or 100. This type of grade, how soon before you can get it to market?
Yeah, we're thinking basically 4 to 5 years is realistic, which is really speedy when you think about mining. We're running some parallel processes now, the exploration process, as well as we're running the environmental processes and stuff like that. We'll run them in parallel. Certainly, we've got we believe a commercial mine right now. Today might be 1 million tons a year, but we're hopeful with some of the exploration we're working on that maybe we can get to several times that. So this next year is really about how big is it going to be? And then at some point you put a finger in it and say, okay, let's gear up towards that production side of things and keep on stepping on the gas there, but probably have a year to see how big we're going to be.
How do we get a new resource estimate out of any of it?
One of the things we're doing and have been doing is we have been doing some infill drilling along the way. So that's part of what we've said. We've grown the resource. So you'll see more and more of those assays come out, and we'll continue to do that this year so we can advance a number probably end of the year or early next year where we'll have like a maiden resource for the Lion Zone. So that's the forecast. Now, what we've done in the interim is we post all of our drill collars, estimates, and assays publicly to the site. And now that we've got the metallurgical numbers, people can, whether it be majors or investment banks or individual people that understand how to run Leapfrog, can run their own models on this thing and come up with their own set of economic theories as to how profitable the mine would be and the NPV and that sort of thing.
With this type of diversity, all the metals that you have in power metallic, you mentioned the majors. I'm not sure how a major would take you out with all that. Perhaps a joint venture of some sort. What is your plan?
We'll see. My preference from my perspective, unless we got some sort of overwhelming offer, would be, I think this is going to be such a lucrative mine that you wouldn't want to be taken out of it too early. But of course, we're not experienced mine builders, so we're acknowledging that. And the ideal scenario for us would be to do some sort of joint venture where they would come in and put up the cash to build the mine and then operate it. And we would get a revenue stream and we could continue on with our exploration efforts, both in the basin here and elsewhere in the world. We think we can do exploration as good as anybody, but development's a different animal.
Are you working on that now?
Are there majors that are reviewing the data? Yes. I think one of the things that was clear to us and why we needed to get the MET study done was that was the most important piece of data that wasn't existing. So now that's there. I think they're all watching closely. We're in the midst of 4 big drill holes right now. We're testing 4 big exploration areas that have been identified by our borehole EM process, which has been so effective for us. So we'll see if we start to reel some of these in, then all of a sudden it'll open up new line zones or possibly the parent of this thing, which is hopefully this big, highly graded nickel copper sulphide beast underneath that we're calling Elephant. And then that will really light things up, I think, for majors and investors as well.
In the last month alone, PNPN and PNPNF has gone up about anywhere from 45 to 65 cents in just 1 month. Now, we know it's an amazing gold market right now. You've got huge potential upside, especially with the price of gold heading towards $5,000 per ounce in US dollars. You've had a problem, and so have all the juniors in the space have had a problem with shorts in the past. Do you think you can outride that? You have so far. And why aren't we seeing a $3 or $4 stock right now with the type of news you're generating?
Yeah, that's the question I've got. I think it's going to happen. Like, they're still definitely in the bloody stock, and they've been repressing every move, every positive move. It's like yesterday's news was, it increased across the board extraction by 18%. And if you think about it from if you had a $10 revenue thing from this mine and $5 were your cost, now your revenue went up to 12. So in other words, your margin went up from 5 to 7. So 7 over 5 is like 40%. So it's like you're doubling your profitability almost. So yet the stock hardly moved at all. And it's like that could not move. Yeah, we moved like 1 million plus shares. So it's like, who's selling on this news? And that's why we're in England. We're meeting with people and meeting some big investors that I know are stepping in and buying a lot of stock. And which is why we were able to turn the stock around in November when people sold off and the stock got dropped fairly aggressively. And then we bought it right back up with major players. And so it's junior mining. It's a volatile sector over time. But at the end of the day, I believe that great deposits get paid. If you're increasing the value of a resource in the ground, whether by finding more of it, by extracting more of it, or by having the underlying commodities go up, in our case, all 3, you're eventually going to get paid. We haven't gotten paid yet, but this is why we get on shows like yours, Ellis, to let the world know that, hey, if you're looking to get exposure to mining, which would be a hell of a good idea right now, this would be one of the great stocks to look at.
I think there's 2 ways to look at PNPN, power metallic listeners. If you are a trader, we've just seen a 40% gain, 30 to 40% gain in the last month. You might want to pay attention to that. You can get in, get out. Excuse me, Terry. But if you're smart and you play long, this is a great point to consider getting involved in the stock, because companies like Great Bear were taken out by Kinross a while back, a couple of years ago, and I think they were a $20 stock. They started out way below where you're trading at right now. So there's all sorts of opportunity depending on your appetite.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, remember, we raised $50 million last February at $1.45 a share. Yesterday, I think we closed at $1.63 or something like that. So in the last year, we're up 18 cents or something. The underlying commodities that we represent are up way over 50%. We increased our land package by 600%, and not moose pasture. I'm talking stuff that was adjacent to discovery. And we've extracted through our metallurgical process that we're taking down an extra 18% of the material. So it's like the math is wonky. It's certainly a hell of a time to be looking at it.
Terry, thanks so much for joining me again on the program. Don't be a stranger.
We'll be talking to you next time. Ciao for now, my friend.
I've been speaking with Terry Lynch, CEO of Power Metallic, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange as PNPN and on the OTC markets as PNPNF. You've been listening to the Ellis Martin Report and Money Talk Radio. For more information, visit powermetallic.com. Power Metallic is a paid sponsor of the Ellis Martin Report.